You know, folks, we now know that Secretary Blinken was in communication with Hunter Biden. What we have now learned is that he lied to Congress about contact with Hunter Biden. Now, this was in 2020. Before he was confirmed to become Secretary of State, he sat down with members of the U.S. Senate, and he testified that he did not have any contact or email relationship with Hunter Biden. Now, I want to take a listen to Senator Ron Johnson. He was in part of those conversations. His team as staff were in those conversations when they were interviewing Secretary Blinken. This was behind closed doors as he was on the way to becoming confirmed to the U.S. Senate. This is what he had to say to them then. Bite two.
Antony Blinken finally did come in and sit down for a voluntary transcribed interview in December of 2020 because he wanted to be Secretary of State. And now, because of more information that's come out, we know that he lied bold-faced to Congress about never emailing Hunter Biden. My guess is he told a bunch of other lies that hopefully we'll be able to bring him and his wife back in, tell them to preserve their records.
He has a long-term family relationship. He's using his wife to contact. He is contacting, yet he got before Congress and said he had never done it before. He totally lied.
Well, is it one email that you could have forgotten that over the course of 20 years? No, of course not. It's a full-on relationship, it seems like, whether using him or his wife's accounts. And when you start using, like, my wife's private account, it's where you go, okay, well, we know that this was intentionally, allegedly intentionally covered up. This wasn't a accident. And yeah, exactly, he lied.
Senator Johnson saying that lawmakers now need to issue a subpoena to get Blinken and his wife, Evan Ryan, because she was that former State Department employee that was acting as a conduit. Remember, because this all led to something that was election interference. Right before the election, October of 2020, they put out a letter that is now known to be totally false. That the Hunter Biden laptop was just fake Russian disinformation. Remember, New York Post was banned from Twitter, banned from even being able to publish the news for a long time because they broke a story that we now know is absolutely true. And we now know that this was absolutely a political move by former intel officials using politics instead of their knowledge to try and help Joe Biden get elected and help Hunter Biden. This is what Tulsi Gabbard, she is a new member of our secular broadcast team, as a senior military and political analyst. She'll be on later in the week. But she tweeted out over the weekend when this story broke that the ex-CIA chief, Morell, revealed that now Secretary of State Blinken was the impetus behind the letter from 51 intel officials falsely claiming Hunter Biden's emails were, quote, Russian disinformation just weeks before, it was in October, the 2020 election. Blinken is a liar who cannot be trusted, and his being Secretary of State is not only useless, it's dangerous. Blinken must go. I think the reason why Tulsi Gabbard says it's dangerous, this guy is running around as our Secretary of State. How has the world been under to Antony Blinken's head of Secretary of State? The world has been a disaster.
Not much higher level that you can get.
No.
Than Secretary of State. Obviously, President. But, it's one of the people who's really pulling the strings, really controlling a lot of what's going on when you really see what secretaries of states do. So when this kind of situation happens, it's easy to kind of mock it, goof around about it, but it's very serious. It's very serious. I mean, he hasn't been a lot of people's favorites. And look, for Joe Biden, this is the time when things usually start getting shaken up a little bit. So you know what? If there's a time to it, maybe this is the time.